We're back. Yes, we are. That's Stone. I'm Rob. We're Sports Take. Let's hit the like button, friends. Thank you. Please and thank you. All right, so let's look at some over-unders here, Tone, for this game. These are the Ellis unofficial over-unders. This is not at any sports book or Ocean Casino or anything
Ellis
like that.
Sports Book.
That's correct. Yes, it is the written on paper. Yeah, not any app that you download or anything like that. But I like to fire these your way, get your reaction, and we can bounce off of each other with these. All right, so let's start with this one. Let's start with Jalen Hurts. Over under 280 yards passing. He went over the 300-yard mark in the Super Bowl, but over under 280. What do you think?
I'm going to go under. Again, I think this is a game where the running game gets heavily involved. I think this is a game where the Philadelphia Eagles try to have a balanced attack, try to limit the amount of possessions that the Kansas City Chiefs can have. I think it's going to mirror what they did against the Dallas Cowboys at Lincoln Financial Field a couple weeks ago. If you notice, they got the running game involved pretty early. They stuck with it. They ran the ball a grand total of 33 times, 23 times with the running backs, 10 times with the quarterback. Jalen Hurts threw the ball 23 times in that matchup, went 17 for 23, completed over 7% of his passes. So I think this is going to be one of those games where Jalen Hurts is highly efficient, yet he doesn't have the gaudy passing numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually has around 250 passing yards, 260, and then he has maybe 2 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown or something like that. I think it's going to be very similar to something like that.
I think it's going to be under, but it doesn't mean he has a bad game.
Exactly, and that's my point.
Yeah, I think we could very well be looking at like a 20 for 28, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, maybe a touchdown on the ground, a very efficient game for him.
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes under, but again, like we said, that's not a bad thing. Let me give you this one. I'm just taking this off the top of my head. Over under a half a turnover for Jalen Hurts. Does he turn the ball over? This is a huge key with him.
I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under because he's trending. So far over the past 3 weeks, he's shown me that the turnover bug is no longer an issue. I don't think he turns the ball over in this game. Now, granted, in that Cowboys game, they had some mishaps, but neither of them per se was his fault, except maybe that first one where one of the guys got around the edge and knocked the ball out of his hand when he was trying to throw it. But he fell right on that. But he hasn't had any high turnover plays really over the past 3 weeks. He did throw an interception in that Dolphins game, obviously, but for the most part, he's been protecting the ball. I think he doesn't turn the ball over at all this week. I actually think this is another week where the Eagles don't turn the ball over. So I'm taking the under on that.
That's big. If that's the case, that's really, really big for these guys. They got to clean that up for sure. All right. DeAndre Swift, over under 75 rushing yards.
I'm taking the over. I'm taking over in this game. I think this part of the season they're going to let DeAndre Swift loose. I think he's going to be well rested, refreshed. The offensive line should be playing better. They're going to be healthy. I think DeAndre Swift has a really big game, actually, really big game.
I do too. I think he's going to play well. I think we could see a combined over 75, but I don't know that he rushes for 75.
For this game, I have the Eagles rushing for north of 150 yards.
But then he's going to get 75 of those. Yeah.
So I think he's going to get 75 of those.
Okay.
Again, maybe I'm being overzealous, but I think this is a week where the running game gets back on track. Not just because Cam Jurgens is back, but also they're well rested. They had some time to go back to the drawing board.
Yep.
And they understand what's at stake here. I think everyone's in playoff mode right now. I think Swift is definitely going over 75 yards. I think the Eagles are going to have at least 150 rushing yards on the ground. I really think that.
It's a good sign if they're doing that. That's a good balance sign. That's for sure. All right. A.J. Brown over the century mark, over 100 yards.
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over. With Dallas Goedert being out, he's going to be feeding A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith even more. I wouldn't be surprised if those guys have. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ has like 10 targets and Smith has like 7 targets or 8 targets. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And then the rest of the targets gets dispersed. Yeah, I'm going to take the over with that.
All right, thank you.
But just over. It's not going to buy much. Like
yeah, I think he's in the $110, $120 range. I think he's in that range. I don't think their D-backs are good.
Very good.
D-backs
Very
are
good.
really good. But AJ Brown is great. You know what I mean? So I'll take great over good. And look, the guy's rolling right now, man, and he's in his zone. And I'm a firm believer when you get into that zone, you can throw a lot of really quality players at you. And sometimes
he's well rested.
You elevate, and he's well rested, and Jalen's well rested. So I like AJ to get there. I think he gets over that century mark, and I'll throw a touchdown in there too. I think AJ gets a touchdown. You remember the play? I remember the touchdown he had last year in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
what an unbelievable play that was.
Yeah, that was vicious, man. AJ's always better when he plays angry. I like when AJ plays angry, man.
Yeah.
You know, when he runs, man, it's like a bowling ball going down the field.
Oh, my God. It's unbelievable. Yeah, so that's a biggie, obviously. All right, let's go Devontae. You know, kind of the forgotten man a little bit. I don't think I'm asking much here. 80? Does he get over 80 in your estimation?
Yes. I think he goes for like 85 yards in this game, maybe 90. This is going to be a game where I think this is going to be the AJ Brown, Devontae Smith show. He's going to be feeding those guys tremendously. And again, everybody else is going to fill in. Like he said, everyone else is going to be by committee because Goddard's not there. You're going to see some targets to Swift. You're going to see some targets to Julio. See some targets to maybe Jack Stoll or the other tight end, Albert O. But I think AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are going to have the bulk of the targets. Like I said, AJ Brown over 100 yards, Devontae Smith over 80 yards. I'm definitely taking over with those guys.
Yeah, I think this is over because of because he's Devontae Smith, but also, and he had a good Super Bowl, by the way, 7 catches for 90 or 100 yards. But also no Goddard. You know, the Goddard thing is a big deal. The targets have to go somewhere. Like I don't think all of a sudden, you know, you're going to see Jack Stoll or Grant Calcaterra or Albert O with 10 catches in a game. So I think you're going to see them get a little bit and chip away a little bit, but I think you're going to see the Eagles receivers get more opportunities. That's what happened last year when Goddard went down, basically at the same time. So I'm a firm believer that this will increase the targets for Devontae Smith. And therefore, I think his yardage is going to go up because the guy generally catches the ball when it's sent his way. So I like the over on that one. All right. We know they had none last year in the Super Bowl. So you could say Kansas City did a great job on them, or the field was a skating rink, whatever, depending on your point of view. But the Eagles' vaunted defensive line did not have a sack on Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I'm going to set the over-under in this game at 2.5. Will they get over or under 2.5 sacks in this game, the Eagles?
I think the Eagles are going to get under. I think the Eagles lead this game with 2 sacks at most.
Okay.
And here's my reasoning for that. Patrick Mahomes has only been sacked 12 times on the season through 9 games. If we're doing some math on that, right?
Yep.
12 sacks divided by 9 games. That's about 1.3 sacks per game. Less than 2 sacks on average a game.
Yeah.
He does a tremendous job of moving around that pocket, manipulating passing lanes. Even though he has new tackles on both sides and they're not necessarily the best, you would expect the guy to get sacked more, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's getting the ball out of his hands quick. They understand that their receivers aren't the best, so they're trying to put them in as many quick situations as possible. And also, Mahomes has been really elusive. He's been really mobile this year, more than I feel like he's been in a while. He's not afraid to break it back. On a quarterback scramble. I think it's going to be so important for the Philadelphia Eagles, not necessarily to focus on getting to the quarterback as far as sacks go, but get pressure, contain him, and don't break containment. Force him to his left side, herd him over. Me and Celia was talking about this yesterday, and it made a lot of sense. Herd him to the left side of the field, which is not his strongest side. Granted, he's still Patrick Mahomes; he can get it done anyway. But force him to a side that he doesn't necessarily want to be on. Cut the field in half, limit his options. But I still don't think the Eagles sack him more than 2 times. I think at the most they get him twice. At the most.
Okay. I think they go over. I think they get 3. I do. I think they get 3. I think Reddick. Well, we'll get to Reddick in a second, but I think they get 3. So before I give that one away, let's go to let's go to. I did it again. JJ Reddick. What am I? I'm losing my mind. Hassan Reddick, or as Mike Quick says,
I almost called Mahomes Jack Mahomes, whatever that means.
I know.
I have no idea where that came from.
It's Friday, dude. You know what I mean? Like stuff happens. I should just go Big Haas. That's what Mike Quick likes to call
Big
it.
Haas.
Big Haas.
Big Haagen-Dazs.
All right, over under half a sack for Hassan Reddick. Will he get one? In other words,
yeah, I think he gets one. I think he gets one, and I think he gets a crucial one at a crucial moment in the game.
He is a money guy late. He is.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going with Hassan. Hassan has just been a man on a mission over the past several weeks, man. Ever since he got the cast off, I think that was in week 3 we got it off.
That's right.
My man went off for 7.5 sacks through what? Like
through
8
6
weeks.
games. He's got
6
7.
games.
He's averaging more than 1 per game.
Yeah, he's averaging more. Yeah, he's exactly. So last year at this point in the season, you know, in the second half of the season, he went off for 10.5 straight sacks over 8 game span. So I'm rocking with those odds. I think he gets at least 1 on the day. That's where I'm at with it, man. I think it's going to be a crucial one. Look, and go off on a limb here. Go off on a limb, and this might go into your point about turnovers, but you know, I'll save him. I'll save him until we get to that point.
Let me just say this: like these guys heard it all off season. Oh, 70 sacks. You know, where were you in the Super Bowl? You know, and as much as I'm sure they want to fire back and say, you know, we were out there on garbage turf and all this other stuff, they had to wear that all off season that they didn't get home and get this guy at least once. So I think this group is really going to be on a mission to get home a couple of times. I really do. So I think it goes over the 2.5 sacks. I think Reddick absolutely gets 1. I think we're looking at Jalen Carter with 1. And I'm going to go with BG. I'm going to go BG, Hassan, and Jalen Carter get home. All right. I'm going to give you those 3. That's how I get to over the 2.5.
Okay. That sounds reasonable. I like it.
Another huge issue, Tone. Takeaways. They have not been good at takeaways this year at all. They only have 4 interceptions on the season. So this could be anything. Could be a fumble, could be a pick, whatever. I'm going to set it at a half, meaning do they get 1 turnover in this game off of the Chiefs?
I think they do. And this goes into my previous point about Hassan Reddick. I think Hassan Reddick forces a strip sack fumble and puts the Eagles in good field position somewhere around the 45, around the 45-yard line.
Yep.
So I'm rolling with that. I think I'm taking over on that. And I think it comes by way of Hassan Reddick forcing a strip sack. He beats he beats that right tackle. He comes around the edge and he just swaps Mahomes' arm just as he's throwing back, and it comes right out.
Okay. I like it. All right. I'm going to give you this one a little out of the box. Anytime touchdown. Gainwell, Zacchaeus, Julio Jones, Stoll, Albert O. I'm going to give you any of those guys to find the end zone in this game. Do you think any of them score?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Who is it of that group?
If I had to roll the dice, I'm going with Julio. I'm going with Julio. I think he gets something similar to what he got in that Washington game. A short yardage, quick pass touchdown. I'm rolling with Julio in that regard. I think he gets one. What about you?
I'm going to say no, but I think Julio Jones will have an impact on this game.
Okay.
I think you're going to see a couple 3rd down conversions from him that will end up being big to move the chains in the game. I think you're going to see him worked in more with Goddard out of there. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that these guys can't have an impact, but I just don't think I don't think there's any chance Stoll scores a touchdown. I think we're asking a lot of Albert O. I know we're all hyped on Albert O, but okay. Zacchaeus, do I see him finding the end zone? I think Gainwell, if you're like giving me odds, he's the highest odds.
Yeah, he probably has the highest odds for sure.
Because he'll get a play run for him probably in the red zone where he could get it. I mean,
true.
that play was beautiful. What was it? The first touchdown against Dallas.
Yeah, that was a strong run by him. Strong.
Yeah.
He needed that on the resume.
Yeah, and I truly believe, and tell me if you disagree, Sirianni absolutely did that to tell everybody he is still our backup running back.
Of course,
there was a message sent there without a doubt.
Listen, these coaches love sending messages without opening their mouths, right?
Yeah.
Perfect example. Michigan, second half of that Penn State game, they didn't throw a single pass.
Right.
They just ran it on them. They wanted to send a message to the rest of the Big Ten, like, listen, y'all think we cheating? Okay, right. we're gonna let you know what it looks like when somebody get cheated, and we're gonna run the ball down your throat. So to your point, coaches like to send messages, man, and I think that's exactly what that was.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, we'll keep rolling. What we're doing, guys, if you just jumping, if anybody's just hopping in, we're doing over unders that I set for this Monday night game. Okay, let's go. Travis Kelce, 7.5 receptions.
Ooh, this was an interesting one. I think he goes over for the simple fact that I think those other guys are going to fail Mahomes so much to the point where he's going to just try to get to Kelce by any means necessary. I think Mahomes is going to throw this ball well over 40 times because their running game is not working. I actually think Kelce is going to have at minimum 13 targets in this game, and he's probably going to have about 10 catches.
I agree. This is an over. This is an over all day for me
because
I just think the other guys aren't that great. Kelce is that great. The Eagles don't have an obvious answer to try and contain him. Mahomes is going to go to him early and often. He's going to want to show out if his girlfriend's in the box,
right,
with mom and dad. But it's Travis Kelce. So would I be surprised if he comes away from the game with 9 catches for 120 yards? No. I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to be the one that you hope he doesn't destroy you. And if the others beat you, they beat you, but the Eagles are going to try and do their best, but he's still going to get his. He's that good.
Yeah.
He's like AJ Brown. He's going to get his.
Yeah. It's Travis Kelce, man. He is who he says he is. And look, man, I never wish for a guy to get hurt at all, but I want somebody to pop him at least once. Just pop him. You know what I mean? Don't hurt him. Just make him feel it a little bit. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Get Miss Swift up there a little concerned. You know what I mean? That's all. That's all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. All right, Mahomes 250 passing yards.
Over for sure.
Yeah, it's
one of the reasons I say over is because I think they're going to be behind in this game a couple times, and not saying they're going to play the entire game from behind. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a very competitive game, back and forth to an extent. But I think somehow, some way, the Eagles get the Chiefs by like 9 points or maybe 8 points, and then it's going to force Mahomes to throw the ball a little bit more. I definitely have Mahomes going for over 250 yards because, again, I think the Eagles, the main reason it really is, I think the Eagles are going to eliminate their running game, without a shadow of a doubt. And it's going to force Mahomes to throw the ball, like I said, north of 40 times. I wouldn't be surprised. if Mahomes goes 37 for 48, 330 passing yards. I think he's going to be around there.
Okay. All right. Let's jump over now to Isaiah Pacheco, who hurt the Eagles big time in the second half of that game. Let's go. I'll give you the same number I gave you for DeAndre Swift. 75 yards on the ground for Pacheco. I'm
going under. Like I said, I believe the Eagles running game is going to the Eagles run defense is going to make it a non-factor for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to try though. They're going to try. They're going to, and also they're going to try to get creative. You're going to see some jet sweeps. You're going to see some, some shovel pass. You're going to see all this creativity to try to get their running game going. They're going to try to get these linebackers and edge rushers going sideline to sideline. They're going to try to test their speed. I highly doubt he'll try to run up the middle on Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. And Fletcher Cox. I just doubt that. I think they're going to try to attack them on the edges, kind of similar to what the Dolphins tried to do. Right. They're going to try to attack them in the C gaps and in space. The pitch plays and like I said, jet sweeps. They're going to try to get them.
Well, Reed is creative. I mean,
they're going to try to get those edge rushers and linebackers in space and try to force them to miss. But even then, though, I still don't have Pacheco going for over 75 yards against this Eagles run defense, who's number 1 in the NFL by a large margin.
Okay. All right. Next, I go Chiefs sacks 2.5. They have, I think, one more than the Eagles this year. They're very good at getting after the quarterback. Dana has 5.5. Chris Jones has 5.5. This is a good defensive line. This is a formidable defensive line. And look, we know how good the Eagles O line is. So, do you think the Chiefs get over or under 2.5 sacks?
I'm gonna say over. I think they get Hurts 3 times. I'm going to say over.
3 times. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say over. I think they get him 3 times right on the nose. But they're not going to be the most jarring sacks. I think they're going to be one of those more so he runs out of options and he just goes down and it just okay, that's a sack. You know what I mean? Like I don't think they're going to be devastating by any stretch of the imagination. But I think they get 3 sacks.
I'm going to say under. I'm going to say 2. I'm going to say they get 2.
I love how we're both on 2 different sides of the fence when it comes to the Eagles and Chiefs sacks. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Jalen, we haven't seen it a lot. There's a couple times this year I thought he held the ball a little bit too long, and I hope he's breaking himself of that habit. So that still does concern me a little bit, like a tiny bit. Yeah, I'm.
Here's another reason why, right?
Yeah,
the Eagles, their quick game is not the best. Or let me put it this way: they don't really utilize the quick game that much. So. Most of the routes they run are intermediate to deep routes, which requires the quarterback to sit back patiently and wait.
That's true.
For them to develop, and you kind of put your offensive line in a precarious position. And again, with guys like Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, and those guys, Mike Donna, who are getting to the quarterback, I just think there's going to be some plays where Hurts is back there trying to make something happen, and either he throws the ball away or he takes the sack. So. Again, their pass defense is really, really good. I just think all those variables, they're going to get him at least 3 times for sure.
Okay. I like it. All right. Assuming she's at the game. I have no idea yet. I haven't heard, seen, whatever. No idea. But if I know her, she'll be there. Taylor Swift cutaways, setting the over-under at 3.5. 3.5 Swifties.
Well, listen, man, I think that number is a little low. I'm going to tell you why. If we have Travis Kelce for going over 7.5 catches. You follow me now?
Yes. I like this thinking. Go ahead. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So if Kelce has over 7.5 catches in the game, which both of you and I think which is going to happen, right? We actually think he's going to have double-digit targets, with potentially 8, 9, 10 catches in this game. Maybe they may not be the most explosive, but he's going to have around those numbers. They're going to cut the Swift every time. Every time he touches the ball, every single time. So I'm definitely taking the over without a shadow of a doubt. And also, it's a money game. It's Monday night national game. They're going to do everything they can to milk that Taylor Swift. Okay. They're going to do everything to milk that Taylor Swift machine.
This is a lock over.
It's a lock.
Lock it in.
It's a lock.
For all the reasons you just gave. And if she's sitting there next to Mama Kelce and you get the option of the Mama Kelce optic as well, forget it. Mahomes' wife, if she's in the picture, if Mahomes does something well, think about this. You could have Jason do something. Jason gets out in the lead block and buries somebody, right? They could want to show the mother. Taylor Swift could be in the shot.
Yeah.
It
all counts. It all counts. You probably should have made this number a little higher.
I should have. It should have been like 5.
Yeah. I was about to say 5.5. That's exactly what I was about to say. 5.5 seems more reasonable, and I'm still taking you over.
Well, here's the funny thing. Tell me if you have a feeling I could care less. Let me be clear. I don't care even a little bit. I know that Eagles fans are ticked off because Taylor Swift is an Eagles fan who grew up in Wyomissing before the family moved to Nashville. But they're angry they're going to be angry if she has Travis Kelce gear on in the game. First of all, it's her boyfriend. I don't care. I don't care, period. But I especially don't care if she has Chiefs gear on. Who cares? Do you care about this?
At all. I mean, outside of her relationship with Kelce, I mean, since when did we ever expect Taylor Swift to be the one to wear Eagles gear at any point?
Right.
I'm not sweating her in any way. I could care less about her. Her music is to me. So it's just that's something I'm not even worried about or care about, or it's not even a blip on the Tone DeShield's radar.
Gotcha. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I don't care. And look, I respect her because she writes her stuff and plays an instrument. She's not one of these phony, somebody writes it for her and it's, lip syncing and all that crap. I appreciate that, but I don't care what the bleep she's wearing on Monday night. So there you go.
Hey, listen, only thing I need her wearing is an L.
That would be nice. A big L. Yes, sir. All right, let's get a timeout. We'll come back. We're going to dig into some of the games that relate to the Eagles this weekend, NFC East, NFC seeding, and then the big games this week as well. We got a lot to update you on in terms of injuries, who's playing, who's not playing. We didn't get to our bottom 5 rankings either yesterday, so we will do that as well. And Tone has brought out, has cooked up. He's been in the lab working on his start bench cut baseball version. We've done football, basketball. We closed the week out with baseball.
This one was harder too, by the way. It was harder.
I could see that being more challenging for sure. We'll close it out with predictions, keys to the game, all that kind of stuff. You don't want to miss any of it, so don't go anywhere. Tone DeShields, Rob Ellis, hanging with you on this Friday. We are Sports Take. All right, let's talk about Pro Action Restoration. Pro Action Restoration. They've been here. They've been at my house over the last couple of days, helping me because I had water damage. I had a flood from an upstairs basement into my downstairs basement, which is anybody who's gone through that knows it can be a really precarious, difficult thing. But Pro Action Restoration has made it simple for me. They came out, they identified the problem. They went about fixing it, drying out the areas that needed to be dried out. It is one-stop shopping in terms of getting the contracting work done with a new ceiling, with a new wall, with paint, with carpet, the whole 9. They do it all. They are licensed, bonded, and fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action Restoration will work in conjunction with your insurance company. So again, water, fire, smoke damage, mold remediation, you name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or online at proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.